Hello everybody, nice to meet you. I will make a presentation about an open source project called FreshRSS, which is an open source newsreader. Please find in the chat a number of links about the different topics I will cover. Let me share my screen. Here we are. I hope everything is good. Otherwise, please let me know. So I will divide my presentation into two parts. The first, which is a slightly more technical part about the FreshRSS system itself and how we use Docker in particular. And the second is about the community of FreshRSS and some related activities that are much larger than our project, and also what role can Docker play in such an ecosystem. So about me, I'm a French guy living in Denmark, PhD in informatics, working with IT, IoT, green IT, and open source. That's by day. By night, I'm hacking quite a number of different open source projects, in particular FreshRSS, also making some contributions to the nice comics. I invite you to have a look, Pepper and Carrot, especially if you have some children. You can find more about myself in my personal website. So FreshRSS, as mentioned, is an open source newsreader. It means that it can aggregate news from different sources. It can be installed. That's one of the key aspects. It's self-hosted for one person or for a group of persons. It's using some very classic LAMP stack, so Linux, Apache, PHP, and a database of choice. So just to recap, if some of you are maybe too young or too old, I don't know. So the main technology behind that is RSS Atom, which is an XML machine-readable version of the different websites providing news. For instance, if you read Slashdot or TechCrunch or whatever, they all have an RSS Atom feed. This is a legacy from Aaron Swartz. If you know about this guy, he's awesome. He left us, unfortunately. So FreshRSS, it's not the only newsreader out there, but we have a number of different differentiators. In particular, we make quite a number of efforts to be for our friendliness. For friendliness for the community, we try to welcome people as much as possible. We try to make technology choices that makes it easy for newcomers to join, and that starts with the language, PHP, for instance. We would not have such a big community if it were some obscure, unknown language. We try to make it hackable, easy to patch, easy to send pull requests, and with a big focus on the ecosystem. We try to be fair, we try to be welcoming. The second big point is to be green in our choices. It means that the whole system, including database, can run very easily on the light Raspberry Pi, even the early versions. And likewise for software requirements, where we really try to make an effort not to require something too new to reduce, in particular, software obsolescence and premature obsolescence. The main aspect is a web server. I will come back to that in a moment, and a web interface. So on the web server, this is where we aggregate news, and the web interface is where you can consume news on either on mobile or on a desktop with multiple themes. I will show that in a moment. To be as open as possible, we support multiple databases, in particular SQLite, which scales very well, even up to a large number of articles. For more serious and multi-user, in particular, so Postgres is a good choice, but we also support MariaDB, MySQL. The whole code can be distributed manually, just as a folder that can be put in somewhere on a web server, or via Docker, and we have some official images on Docker Hub. And this actually makes our lives a lot easier because it reduces the number of typical errors some of our users have in setting up their web server correctly, setting up their server correctly, etc. So this is a big help to have some Docker images. So those are how this is how it looks like with multiple themes. So we can see, for instance, to the left, a number of categories where you can order the different feeds. For instance, Ars Technica, you can see, or Electronic Frontier Foundation, etc. So we can really register to many different sources, and you can see we have a number of different themes with or without thumbnails of different types, and so we have different types of views depending on how you want to consume news. So this is all on the server side, and we have regular users submitting so new themes. In particular, we try to make it easy to do. What are the main features we have? We try to keep the system simple and do one thing well, which is to consume news of from RSS. We can star articles to read later. So for instance, when reading on a mobile phone, you can put some stars to articles you want to read more carefully on the desktop later. This is synchronized. You can add custom labels. For instance, in my job, I work a lot with IoT, for instance, with positioning and a number of things. I can add custom labels to the articles I have received so that I can find them easily afterwards. We have a powerful search system to filter by date, by keywords, by authors, by many things. We also support the standard WebSub publish subscribe protocol, which allows us to receive from compatible websites instant news. So as soon as news is published, for instance, on TechCrunch, we receive it immediately in the different FreshRSS instances we have out there. We have a strong command line and extensions that are allowing our users to develop additional add-ons. We also support two main APIs. We have made the choice to not develop our own APIs, but to reuse existing ones, in particular the Google Reader API. So despite the fact that Google Reader is dead, which is actually one of the main motivations I have had to be independent from such big actors, and to the API still lives on. And there are many, as you can see in the table here, where we have the different Android and iOS and Linux and Windows clients supporting us. There are quite many clients out there. A few examples. You can see there are many different styles. Most of them are open source. Some are commercial for multiple platforms: Linux, macOS, Android, iOS, and so forth. Right. Back to the techniques, a bit more on Docker. This is a topic for today. We have quite a lot of improvements that we have on our roadmap, and maybe some of you out there, either from Docker or from the community, could provide some hints or some guidelines, links, etc., to how we could do it better. In particular, we would be interested to improve our official Docker images to be an official Docker Hub image, so with an underscore instead of the user prefix. So what my wish are to have some lint or hint tools, so maybe a test suite to help us converging to an official Docker image. What we already use is in our continuous integration are tools such as Hadolint to lint Docker Compose and Docker files. And two additional shell linters, so SHFMT and shellcheck, which are also incorporated in our continuous integration as GitHub Actions. We would also like to improve the way we build for multi-platforms. So I've mentioned that we also support Raspberry Pi, for instance. And the way we do that now, so I can manually compile, of course, for multiple platforms on my own machine. But on Docker Hub, our automatic images at the moment, they use QEMU. As you can see, we have this Docker hook there, which allows us to use the current Docker Hub for compiling to, for instance, ARM supporting Raspberry Pi. I'm aware they should soon, or maybe that has already arrived, be some ways to cross-compile for multiple platforms on Docker Hub. Any pointers welcome. We also have identified a problem with the README on Docker Hub. So in our repository on GitHub, everything that is related to Docker is in the sub folder, a sub folder Docker, where there is a README there. Unfortunately, on Docker Hub, it is fetching the root README and not the Docker README, which gives a bit some headaches. So any tips for that would also be welcome. Now a bit about the community. We are using the platform Mattermost for instant chat and teleconference and things like that. And we're also using GitHub for most of the rest of our activities, including bug report, issuing new releases, etc. I'm quite proud of the number of users we have. You can see 168 contributors. It's quite nice for such a project. We have some sponsor system, and you can see on Docker Hub, our official image has over 2 million downloads, and we have also there are also a number of additional third-party images, for instance, from Linux server, which has also quite a number of users. So it's an okay popular project taking good advantage of Docker. But this FreshRSS community is actually a little piece of a larger effort. So we are not officially affiliated, but I would like to mention some which are closely related to our efforts, which is Framasoft, a French non-profit organization, which is born from education to make a list of open source software for teachers to be able to teach mathematics and languages and geometry and stuff like that. And it has grown up to many other things now. There are actually a number of fixed employees and quite many activities out there. Have a look if you can. They are mostly known for some of their distributed systems. I will show that a bit after. The goal of Framasoft is to raise awareness of some of the problems of being too centralized with some actors that are too strong, in particular about censorship, in particular about economic pressure, and we like to show that there are some other alternatives to balance this situation. So this has been initiated in France. You can recognize maybe this thing from Asterix, if any of you know these comics. And the goal has been to provide some alternatives to many of the known big actors out there that can be decentralized. So the second goal of Framasoft has been to demonstrate that it can actually work. It means to deploy some of those selected open source systems and to invite many people. For instance, we are using Framagit as a GitHub alternative. We are using a number of other systems that have been deployed there. But that's not the end goal. The end goal is actually this is a photo from a French local market, where this is the usual way to be more local. You buy your groceries and vegetables and fruits, etc., to local producers, and the idea is to do something similar, or at least to have an option to do something similar for IT, where you would go to some local trusted place for your pictures, calendars, emails, news reading, etc. So maybe the most known project from Framasoft is PeerTube, which is a decentralized peer-to-peer alternative to YouTube. Have a look. The end goal is to actually facilitate that, to allow many people to host those selected open source projects themselves and to offer that to a local community. Not necessarily for free, it can be with payment. So just like you would buy your local groceries one place, you can buy your IT as one of those chatons, as we call it. And this is actually a very nice place for Docker to be, because many of those administrators of chaton instances, they are not skilled for each of the different solutions they are hosting. And so Docker is a tremendous help to actually make that scalable. You can have a look at chaton.org. There are quite many already instances, mostly in France. This is where it comes from, but it is spreading to the rest of Europe and also to the rest of the world. There are a number of related associations. For instance, LibreHost, which is also quite well known in Europe and growing the rest of the world. Yes, this was my talk for now. You can have a look to contributopia.org for additional information about those communities. And thank you for your attention. Any question in the chat would be welcome. Thanks.